Dun, 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 dun. Oopsie. Chapter 26. When Jesus finished, chapter 26 of Matthew, the Bible read. When Jesus finished all these words, he said to his disciples, "You know that in 2 days' time it will be the Passover, and the Son of Man will be handed over to be crucified." Then the chief priests and the elders of the people assembled in the palace. And the chief priests and the elders of the people assembled in the palace of the high priest, who is called Caiaphas. Then they consulted together to arrest Jesus by treachery and put him to death. But they said not. Not during the festival, that they may not be so that they. But he said not during the festival, that there may not be a riot among the people. When Jesus was in Bethany, in the house of Simon the leper, a woman came up to him with an alabaster jar of costly perfumed oil and poured it on his head while he was reclining at a table. When the disciples saw this, they were indignant. They said, "Why the waste? It could have been sold for much, and the money given to the poor." Since Jesus knew this, he said to them, "Why do you make trouble for the woman? She has done a good thing for me. The poor you always have with you, but you not always have me. In pouring this perfume oil upon my body, she did it to prepare me for burial. Amen, I said unto you, wherever this gospel is proclaimed in the whole world, what she has done will be spoken of and in memory of her." Then one of the 12, who was called Judas Iscariot, went to the chief priests and said, "What are you willing to give me if I hand him over to you?" They paid him 30 pieces of silver. And from that time on he looked on for opportunity to hand him over. On the first day of the feast of unleavened bread, the disciples approached Jesus and said, "Where do you want us to prepare for you to eat the Passover?" He said, "Go into a city to a certain man and tell him, the teacher says, my appointed time draws near. In your house I shall celebrate the Passover with my disciples." Then the disciples did as Jesus had ordered and prepared the Passover. When it was evening, he reclined on the table of the 12, and when they were eating, he said, "Amen, amen, I say unto you, one of you will betray me." Deeply distressed at this, they began to say unto one another, "Surely it is not I, Lord." Deeply distressed at this, they began to say to him, to one after another, "Surely it is not I, Lord." He said in reply, "Those who dip his hand in the dish with me is the one who will betray me. Those who dip his hand into the dish with me is the one who will betray me. The Son of Man indeed goes as it is written for him, but woe to the man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It would not be better for that man if he had never been born." Then Judas, his betrayer, said in reply, "Surely it's not I, Rabbi." He answered, "You said so." Then when they were eating, Jesus took his bread and blessing and broke it, giving it to his disciples. "Take this, and this is my body." Then he took a cup, gave thanks. Then he gave it to them, saying, "Drink from it, all of you. For this is the blood of my covenant, will be shed on behalf of many of the forgiveness of sins. I tell you, from now on I shall not drink from this fruit of the vine until the day when I drink it with you in the kingdom of my Father. Then I tell unto you, from now on I shall not drink of this fruit of the vine until the day when I drink it with you in the kingdom of my Father." Then, after singing a hymn, they went out to the Mount of Olives. Then Jesus said to them, "This night all of you will have your faith in me shaken, for it is written, I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep from the flock. I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock will be dispersed. But after I have been raised up, I shall go before you to Galilee." Peter said to him in reply, "Though all may have their faith in you shaken, mine will never be." Mine will never be. Jesus said to him, Amen, I say to you, this very night before the cock crows, you will deny me 3 times. Peter said to him, although you may have your faith, although all may have their faith in you shaken, mine will never be. Jesus said to him, Amen, I say unto you, this night before the cock crows, you will be denying me 3 times. Peter said to him, even though I should have to die with you, I will not deny you. And all the disciples spoke likewise. He said to him, even though I should have to die with you, all the disciples spoke likewise. Then Jesus came with him to a place called Gethsemane, and said to his disciples, sit here while I go over there and pray. They took along Peter and his 2 sons Zebedee, and began to feel sorrow and distress. Then he said to them, my soul is sorrowful even to death. Remain here and keep watch with me. And he said unto them, my soul is sorrowful even to death. Remain here and keep watch with me. He advanced he advanced a little and fell prostrate in prayer, saying, my Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me, yet not as I will, but as you will. Then, when he returned to his disciples, he found them asleep. He said to Peter, So you could not have kept watch with me for 1 hour? Watch and pray that you do not undergo the test. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Withdrawing a second time, he prayed again, my Father, if it is not possible that this cup pass without drinking it, your will be done. Then he returned one more and found them asleep, for they could not keep their eyes open. He left them and withdrew again, prayed a 3rd time, saying the same thing again. Then he returned to his disciples and said to them, Are you still sleeping and taking your rest? Behold, the hour is at hand when the Son of Man is to be handed over to sinners. Get up and let us go. Look, my betrayer is at hand. While he was speaking, Judas, one of the 12, arrived, accompanied by a large crowd with swords and clubs, those who had come from the chief priests and the elders of the people. His betrayer had arranged a sign with them, saying, The man I shall kiss is the one. Arrest him. The man I shall kiss is the one. Arrest him. Immediately he went over to Jesus and said, Hail, Rabbi, and kissed him. Jesus answered him, Friend, do what you have come for. Then stepping forward, they laid their hands on Jesus and arrested him. And behold, one of those who accompanied Jesus put his hand on the sword and drew it, and struck the high chief's servant, cutting off his ear. Then Jesus said to him, Put your sword back into its sheath, for all who take the sword will perish by the sword. Put the sword back in the sheath, for all those who take the sword will perish by the sword. Do you think that I cannot call upon my Father, and he will not provide me at this moment more than 12 legions of angels? But then how would the scriptures be fulfilled, which say that it must come to pass in this way? At that hour, Jesus said unto the crowds, Have you come out as a robber with swords and clubs to seize me? Day after day I sat teaching in the temple area, yet you did not arrest me. But all this has come to pass, that the writings of the prophets may be fulfilled. Then all the disciples left him and fled. Those who had arrested Jesus led him away to Caiaphas, the high priest, where the scribes and the elders were assembled. Jesus was following him at a distance as far as the high priest's courtyard, and going inside, he sat down with the servants to see the outcome. Jesus' priests and his entire Sanhedrin kept trying to obtain false testimony against Jesus to put him to death, but they found none. Though many false witnesses came forward, finally two came forward. Although faithful false witnesses came forward, finally 2 came forward, who stated, "The man said, I can destroy the temple of God and within 3 days rebuild it." Then the high priest rose and addressed him. "Have you no answer? What are these men testifying against you?" But Jesus was silent, and the high priest said unto him, "I order you to tell us under oath before the living God whether you are the Messiah, Son of God." Jesus has said to him in reply, "You said so. But I tell you, from now on you will see the Son of Man seated at the right hand of the power, and coming on the clouds of heaven." Then the high priest tore off his robes and said, "He has blasphemed. What further need have we of witnesses? You have now heard this blasphemy. What is your opinion?" They said in reply, "He deserves to die." Then he spat in his face and struck him, while some slapped him, saying, "Prophesy for us, Messiah. Who it is that struck you?" Now Peter was sitting outside of the courtyard. One of the maids came to him. Okay, so we're now going to do part B. We're now on 69. Matthew. What is this? Matthew 26, I think. Matthew 26, yeah. 26, verse number 69. Woo, a funny number. Because we have to now, we now beat the 10-minute mark. So this is now part B, and we still have a lot more to go. So thank you for watching our show. We're gonna be right back. With you.